My child, I know what they did to you. I know the nights you cried quietly so nobody would hear. I know the pain you carried while pretending to be strong. I know how deeply their words wounded your heart. You kept asking me, why did you allow this? Why do they look happy after hurting me? Why does justice feel so far away? But listen carefully. Just because I am silent does not mean I am absent. And just because judgment is delayed does not mean truth has been ignored. I saw everything. Every betrayal. Every lie. Every moment they tried to break your spirit. And while you were fighting to survive, I was already working behind the scenes. Tonight, I want you to stop focusing on revenge. Stop checking if they are suffering. Stop wondering if they will ever understand your pain. Because I am God, and I know how to deal with hearts better than anyone else. So breathe deeply, my child, and listen closely. These are the 7 signs that I am dealing with those who hurt you.
Sign 1. They begin losing their peace.
My child, one thing people cannot fake forever is peace. They may smile in public. They may pretend nothing happened. They may act strong in front of others. But inside, their soul becomes restless. Because when someone wounds another person without repentance, something begins changing within them. The nights become heavier. Their thoughts become louder. Silence starts exposing what distraction once covered. Why? Because I created the human heart to recognize truth. And when someone keeps ignoring conviction, peace slowly disappears. You must understand this carefully. Real peace does not come from money. It does not come from popularity. It does not come from pretending to win. Peace comes from alignment with me. And when people choose cruelty over love, pride over humility, darkness over truth, they begin fighting battles inside themselves that nobody else can see. That is why you must stop envying people who hurt you. You do not know what happens when they are alone. You do not hear the conversations happening in their conscience. You do not see the emotional weight they carry behind closed doors. Sometimes the punishment begins internally, long before it appears externally. But hear me carefully. Do not celebrate their suffering. I did not call you to become bitter. I called you to become healed. The enemy wants your pain to transform you into the very thing that hurt you. Do not allow that to happen. Instead, release your anger into my hands, because vengeance belongs to me, not you. And when you finally stop obsessing over what they deserve, your own healing begins. So tonight, let go. Not because they were right, not because what they did was acceptable, but because your heart deserves peace too.
Sign 2. Doors start closing around them.
My child, there are moments when people believe they escaped accountability. They hurt others. They manipulate people. They destroy trust. And for a while, life still seems normal. But eventually, things begin shifting. The same doors that once opened easily begin closing. Opportunities disappear unexpectedly. Relationships become unstable. Confusion enters places where confidence once existed. Why? Because actions carry consequences. What people plant into others eventually grows back into their own lives. This is not always instant punishment. Sometimes it is loving correction. Because even when someone does wrong, I still desire repentance before destruction. But if a person continues ignoring truth, their choices eventually begin affecting every area of life. You must remember this. Nobody truly succeeds while living in darkness. Temporary success is not lasting peace. Many people look powerful on the outside while falling apart internally. That is why I do not want you comparing your journey to theirs. You only see a chapter. I see the entire story. And while you are crying over what you lost, I may already be protecting you from a future you cannot yet understand. Sometimes the door that closed was actually mercy. Sometimes the heartbreak saved your destiny. Sometimes the betrayal removed people who could not go where I am.
You. So stop asking why certain people left. Some people are assignments. Others are distractions. And when I remove someone from your life, trust that I see what you cannot. Your future is too important to stay connected to people committed to hurting you. Sign 3. They cannot escape the memory of what they did. My child, people may silence conversations, but they cannot silence truth forever. The human mind remembers. And when someone deeply hurts another person, memories begin following them into quiet moments. Certain songs remind them of you. Certain places trigger conviction. Certain moments reopen guilt they tried to bury. Because truth has a voice. And even if they never admit it publicly, their conscience continues speaking privately. You do not need to chase closure from people who hurt you. Why? Because closure does not come from their apology. It comes from your trust in me. Some people will never fully explain why they hurt you. Some will never take responsibility. Some will continue pretending they were innocent. But my child, truth does not disappear just because someone denies it. I know what happened, and that is enough. You cannot heal while begging for validation from the same people who wounded you. Instead, bring your brokenness to me. I understand the tears you never explained to anyone else. I understand the emotional exhaustion, the anxiety, the disappointment, the loneliness. And I promise you this, what was hidden from others was never hidden from me. So stop replaying the betrayal in your mind every night. You survived it. And now, I want to restore you. Sign 4. I begin separating them from certain people. My child, sometimes I remove people from someone's life to reveal who they truly are. The crowd becomes smaller. Support begins disappearing. The people who once encouraged toxic behavior suddenly walk away. Why? Because darkness cannot remain hidden forever. Eventually, unhealthy patterns expose themselves. And when truth begins surfacing, separation follows. You see, many people mistake popularity for blessing. But not everyone surrounding someone is sent by me. Some relationships survive only because they are built on pride, gossip, manipulation, or selfishness. And when I begin correcting someone's path, those unstable foundations begin collapsing. But listen carefully. Do not become obsessed with watching people lose things. That is not your assignment. Your assignment is healing. because bitterness can quietly poison wounded hearts. The enemy would love for your pain to consume your future. He wants you angry forever.
Suspicious forever. Emotionally trapped forever. But I created you for freedom. You were not designed to carry hatred for the rest of your life. So forgive. Not because they earned it, but because your heart deserves release. Forgiveness does not mean trust is automatically restored. Forgiveness means you stop carrying the burden of revenge. And when you release people into my hands, you finally make room for peace. Sign 5. You begin healing in ways you did not expect. My child, one of the greatest signs that I am handling the situation is this. You slowly begin finding peace again. At first, you thought the pain would destroy you forever. You struggled to sleep. You struggled to trust. You struggled to feel hope. But little by little, your strength returned. You started smiling again, laughing again, dreaming again.
And one day, you realized something shocking. The thing that tried to break you actually brought you closer to me. My child, pain changes people. But when you place your pain in my hands, it does not have to destroy you. I can transform wounds into wisdom. I can transform heartbreak into strength. I can transform rejection into redirection. You are not the same person you were before the betrayal. You are wiser now, stronger now, more discerning now. And even though the process hurt deeply, I was building something inside you that comfort could never produce. Sometimes growth happens in tears. Sometimes healing happens slowly. But every day you continue moving forward, you are proving that darkness did not win. So stop speaking death over your future. You are not ruined. You are being rebuilt. And what I rebuild becomes stronger than before.
Sign 6. They begin facing themselves. My child, many people spend years running from accountability. They blame others. They justify harmful behavior. They avoid truth because facing it feels uncomfortable. But eventually, reality catches up. Masks begin falling off. Excuses stop working. Distractions lose their power. And suddenly, they are forced to confront the person they became. That moment can feel terrifying because nothing is heavier than truth ignored for too long. Sometimes I allow loneliness to reveal character. Sometimes I allow failure to expose pride. Sometimes I allow disappointment to awaken conviction. Not because I enjoy punishment, but because I desire transformation. You must understand this. I care about souls. Even the people who hurt you are not beyond redemption. That does not excuse what they did. But it explains why my patience sometimes feels longer than you expected. I always desire repentance before destruction. So do not harden your heart completely against people. Leave room for grace. Because if I only gave people what they deserved instantly, none of you would survive. You live today because of mercy too. Never forget that. Sign 7. I elevate you after the pain. My child, the final sign is this.
I begin lifting you into a new season. Not because you became perfect, not because the pain never happened, but because suffering was never meant to be your permanent home. I restore confidence. I restore joy. I restore purpose. The same person who once cried themselves to sleep begins walking with strength again. The same heart that once felt abandoned begins feeling hope again. And eventually, the people who underestimated you witness your restoration. Not because you fought them, but because I carried you. Hear me clearly tonight. What hurt you will not define your destiny. The betrayal was painful.
It was not powerful enough to cancel my purpose for your life. You were still chosen, still loved, still valuable. And while others tried to break your spirit, I was protecting your future. So stop chasing revenge. Revenge cannot heal your soul. Only my presence can do that. Trust my timing. Trust my justice. Trust my plan even when you do not understand everything yet. Because one day, you will look back and realize the pain that almost destroyed you actually led you closer to your purpose.